I don't have a webcam at the moment. Mine broke. Okay, what the fuck this is. Yeah, no, so I don't have a webcam at the moment. Mine broke. So we are using nothing. We're just going to be doing like and hopefully we can get through a couple of duels. Maybe at least just one. If we can get through one, if I win the first duel that I enter, then I'm probably gonna stop the stream. Just go to bed. I probably need to go to bed. Alright, but chat, I just got a new microphone stand, which is exciting, kind of. Oh, we're gonna allow that. We're gonna go to some ranked duels. Yep. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Brandon can do anything. Ooh, unless you draw like that. That is all going second cards. Holy shit. I mean, I'm definitely maxing here. Ash Blossom? My Ash Blossom, haha. You've been outsmarted. Ooh, he had all the gravy. Yeah, I don't think that I'm coming back from this one, chat. Not gonna lie. Yeah, this is looking pretty abysmal. Yeah, I really don't know about this one, chat. I'm gonna have chat open, but whatever. And he's scooped. What the fuck? Nah, he had me. I mean, he didn't know that my entire hand was just go second cards, but holy shit, he scooped. So we take these wins. We take these wins, man. We have to take these. Still don't get to go first, man. I never get to go first. It's fucking bullshit. Sword Souls. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's draw something decent. Not quite. Alright, everybody else get off the fucking internet. Come on, please. Okay. And my turn. You're not getting no maxi out of me. I'm still winning. They think that they're winning, but Ultrageist is terrible. I know because I have a real life Ultrageist deck. And it's fucking god awful. Great draw. choice. I'm gonna pick Dark Magician. This is not looking good, chat. This is not looking good. Am I really gonna lose to Altergeist? That's kind of crazy. I mean, fuck it, ash it. I don't care anymore. I really do not care anymore. So I'm pretty much dead. Like, literally, there's nothing I can do. This is god awful. I don't want to. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Not doing good on Master Duel. Master Duel is kind of a hit or miss. Yeah, no, Master Duel was kind of a hit or miss. Maybe Grand Theft Auto Online is a little bit different. We will see. Yeah, I keep forgetting. I don't do anything on my phone. I'm gonna have to watch a video about this. Probably on the main screen. Because I'm not playing any, It's a fantastic arm.
Did you know Cheez-It made extra toasty? I did. But did you know that's not a rug?
Lil Yachty's career should have been over in a matter of years. Hit the wall from the second he arrived in the game. Supporters were outnumbered by the scores of people who wanted to see him back in the gutter. Because, in their opinion, he didn't respect the opportunity he had. Meanwhile, Yachty was just trying to have fun.
I mean, I'm making music, bro. It's with just having fun and fun.
But these days, Yachty isn't laughing anymore and set out to prove why he's one of the biggest names in the industry. The only thing that hasn't changed is that there's still plenty of fans who feel that Lil Bo is worthy of their disgust. So how did Yachty go from being a beloved figure in hip-hop to everyone, including artists from his own label, calling him out and doing anything to tarnish his reputation? My name is Luesta, and to understand why Yachty is so hated, we have to go back and see why Yachty was so despised in the first place. Although he had hits like One Night, Minnesota, and many more blowing up like crazy in the year 2016, many hip-hop fans and vets saw him as everything wrong with the genre. This time in hip-hop was a bit different than it is now, as Atlanta was in the beginning stages of taking over the mainstream with their sound. And as Yachty was signed to QC, the same label that signed Migos, Lil Baby, Rich the Kid, City Girls, and more, obviously his songs had a similar vibe. Trap beats, braggadocious lyrics, auto-tuned vocals, you know, typical Atlanta stuff. And as the sound evolved, many people began to label rappers in this subgenre of hip-hop as quote-unquote mumble rappers.
But singers mumbling and rambling, mumbling and rapping, mumble rapping. I find it hard to find actual talent.
It was a new wave that was taking over the game, and some
because when you look at these kids today that are rapping with the lean and the pills, they sound like garbage. Versus my generation, who, yeah, okay, X, some guys may have dabbled, but for the most part, I don't think the music was quality.
For a long time, Yachty basically became the poster in various interviews.
Well, I mean, when it comes to what they call mumble rap, I feel like you've been the poster boy for that.
Because I'm the one who speaks up. You know, I'm the one who I've been going on all these interviews, and I'm the one taking all the flock for everything because I be speaking, I be talking.
What's funny is that despite saying this, Lil Bo also clarified that he felt the term.
Or do you?
No, it don't bother me, although I still feel like it don't relate to me, but it doesn't bother me. I be talking with grills sometimes, you know, so it may sound sometimes like I mumble, you know what I'm saying, when I speak. And I just got my voice is different.
However, not only was he labeled a mumble rapper, but he also became a symbol of the new generation of rappers, who often faced criticism for not showing enough respect to the legendary pioneers of the genre. This became a huge deal starting on November 8th, 2016, when Yachty appeared alongside his producer Perry for Pitchfork's Over/Under series. In this
I need my spokes.
show, they were asked to rate things ranging from pirating to famous celebrities like Tom Hanks and Biggie. And when it came down to what he would rate the notorious B.I.G., one of the most respected and legendary rappers out of Brooklyn, the then 18-year-old rapper said this.
Overrated. I've never listened. I'm not gonna say I've never listened. I've like heard like his stuff in movies and stuff. I grew up very sheltered. I can't say the same for him.
As soon as the clip began to surface and do the rounds on social media, Yachty bought himself the intense scrutiny of everyone who didn't buy into his King of the Teens image. Basically, this marked the first time that he began getting hated by the masses, as now he was seen as an ungrateful kid who didn't respect what came before him. The backlash was pretty bad, and I'm telling you, everybody was talking about it at the time. To add salt to the wound, this wasn't even the first time that Yachty was seen disrespecting a legend. And only about 2 months prior to this,
Reimagine exceptional with the 2024 Buick Envision. Buick, exceptional by design.
Get 0.9% APR, plus no monthly payments for 90 days on this.
Yachty had posted a video to social media where he and his friends claimed that Drake was better than Tupac.
What you say? Drake is better than Tupac and Biggie. They ain't got shit on Drake.
This received so much negative feedback that it's hard to find a single comment where they were supportive of Yachty's opinion. At first, Yachty tried to act like he was unfazed by all the hate and just kept making himself the face of his era.
Why do you think that people always take what you say and twist it to be the most negative?
I don't know, bro. Like, I think it's just because I'm like the leader of this new school, like, and it's like such a big line between the old school and the new school. Like, it's not together. Like,
Yeah.
it's clear and evident that the old school of hip hop and the new school of hip hop aren't best friends. You know, like it's a lot of old MCs that just don't really have much respect for us new school like rock stars.
They don't have to respect you.
True, and then it's the same way.
Exactly.
You know,
Even when faced with intense criticism, Yachty refused to really back down or take any accountability for his role in the hate he was receiving. But it's clear the negativity eventually got to him. Only a couple days later, he was appearing on interviews, immediately taking back what he said.
Biggie and
at the time, I wasn't, understanding that, but now I'm at a point where I understand. It's a lot serious to specific people because it's just like I don't know. He's just one of those subjects that just like
It's touchy, dog. Him and Pac, it's touchy. It's emotional. People are invested.
Exactly. And, I'm from a new generation where I just wasn't as emotionally connected, but I'm at a point now in life where I understand it.
Yeah.
I respect it, and
You learn from it.
If you want a clear picture of how big of a deal this was, Yachty claimed that he was literally starting to receive death threats for the controversy. But even though there was a lot of hate out there, none of this was really affecting Yachty's bag. And to be honest, the publicity he was receiving was just making him more and more famous. And it also allowed him to reach a wider audience. Amid making $13 million in 16 months from endorsement deals with Sprite and Target, among others, Yachty was definitely moving like a brand and successfully getting the bag. So if he was truly unbothered by all of the smoke he was getting from his detractors, then he would be entitled to. But while his pockets were getting bigger, so did the tension between him and the hip-hop community.
It was a video of Lil Yachty freestyling at Hot 97. He captioned it with a bunch of emojis showing disapproval, basically saying he ain't with it. Now, a fan actually said, "This is ridiculous. Whoever put him on hip-hop is dead because of shit like this. How are people okay with the whack-ass wannabe rappers like him?" Okay, Pete Rock actually responded to that person. He says, "Shaking my head. They don't match the world that we live in, making this type of nonsense or not repping the culture right. They breed in these stupid-ass fans with no fucking brains. So we gonna have a world full of that? Really?" Now, of course, Lil Yachty was not gonna take that too lightly. He didn't appreciate that.
His attitude towards the culture gave some of the genre's most vocal critics a reason to express their frustration whenever he showed up on their shows during a press run. And that's exactly what happened in the infamous Joe Budden showdown. Now, I have talked about the drama between Joe Budden and Lil Yachty on my page a few times before, but I think it's worth recapping again for this video because it was really one of the most controversial moments in his career. Well, up until recently at least, when the disdain for Yachty really went into overdrive. Back in April of 2017, Yachty faced scrutiny from Joe Budden, who had joined the Deska, Alexis, and Academics on Complex's new hip-hop debate show titled Everyday Struggle. As Yachty was gearing up to promote his album Teenage Emotions, Joe Budden was not happy about it. Without even hearing a single track, Joe Budden formed his official cover. The cover features Lil Bo at a movie theater surrounded by various outcasts, including an overweight girl, 2 gay men, an albino, a punk rocker, and a woman with vitiligo. Joe claimed that the cover was pandering to the LGBTQ+ community and was ruining hip-hop culture.
I don't think that Yachty is hip-hop. I don't think that Yachty's label is hip-hop. And when you're not hip-hop, you're trying to just troll or exploit, you get things like this.
Weeks later, Yachty thought it would be fun to come onto the show and discuss it with Joe. However, nobody knew that Joe Budden was about to let Yachty have it for disrespecting the culture that he held near and dear to his heart. 2 minutes in, and Joe Budden threw a fit.
So you came up with this cover?
Yeah, I came up with that cover, and
nobody from the art department at the label came up with this cover.
No,
you went to the label and said, I want 2 gay dudes kissing. I want the white girl with the funny hair. You went to the label and said you want all of that.
Actually, I didn't go to the label.
Who you called?
I didn't call the label. It has nothing to do with the label. We do it and then we give it to the label.
Joe Budden didn't think that Yachty was really a rapper who blew up off of his talents. Instead, he felt like his label was making him have as many antics and gimmicks as possible to help him blow up.
Tell me what the message is here.
The message is just to believe in yourself, to love yourself. Basically, it's just showing all signs of life. You know what I'm saying? She has vitiligo. She's like an emotional girl. You know what I'm saying? We have obesity, and then we have same-sex love. You know what I'm saying?
What about your music speaks to any of that?
My music is basically to stay positive and just to love yourself.
It was almost as if whatever Yachty said didn't even matter, as Joe was simply bitter from the start. When the Atlanta native tried to explain how he can identify with feeling like an outcast, Budden clearly takes issue with it and immediately calls his claim bullshit.
I feel like the new generation is the outcast, but I feel like I'm the top outcast.
Let me tell you something, right?
Now that's interesting.
That's bullshit.
Then, when Yachty tried to say that he's happy every day, Budden then accuses him of being media trained.
I'm happy every day because life is moving in such...
Live from New York!
It's the best sketch that's ever been made.
I gotta have more Calvin.
Writing's hard.
My first audition, I threw up. Yeah, I got fired. We gonna talk about it. How am I already underwater?
I'm in the same boat.
I'm in an actual boat. Because I've been using Grammarly's AI for years to keep me high and dry. Find out what's missing. Right there. The CEO will want to see a deadline.
Oh.
And here you should connect the projections back to company strategy.
Yeah. Mia, can you do a deep dive?
On it. 10% higher revenue by next year.
I'm sending it in.
Budget and headcount are approved.
Download Grammarly for free.
In a positive way, I can't get slowed down.
So maybe he has been media trained. This is a very media-trained answer.
Before schooling him on how humans work.
Let me tell you about how humans are.
Okay, I'm listening.
Feelings are fickle. What that means is they come and they go. Nobody is one thing forever. You cannot tell me, you would be lying to tell me that as a young man in this industry, in this music industry, in the music business, you are happy 24/7. That is a lie. So that is bullshit, and I refuse to have somebody tell me bullshit.
And although Yachty tried to explain that he was really grateful for everything he had, Joe just wasn't buying it.
When you come from a college dorm room with no money and you ain't getting no play with no girls, you're not getting, you have no clothes, you have no car, and you come to having 3-4 cars, you got millions of dollars, $500,000 on your body just to wear, and any kind of clothes you want, any hoes you want, how could you be upset?
Because I don't think that's where your values lie. That's why.
Throughout the duration of the interview, Budden made it clear that he had no respect for Yachty whatsoever, and that he didn't stand for anything Yachty represented. But after watching what went down, a lot of viewers who weren't even fans of his saluted Yachty for keeping his composure and standing up to the veteran MC. However, Joe pointed out a few valid flaws within Yachty's mindset, such as the fact that he didn't even know what type of deal he was signed to. And when reflecting back to the interview all these years later, Yachty admitted that the whole incident, as well as being used as a scapegoat by Joe Budden for what's wrong with the culture, did get to him.
Joe was just kind of like, every time he was just trying to diss the newer rappers, he would just use you. For whatever reason. It was just you. And I could imagine, because I knew you were watching the show at that time.
That's my fucking favorite show.
And every fucking day, imagine like you're just getting slammed. It's kind of like how how KD feels about these
I
sports
swear to
niggas.
God, I was just gonna say that. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah, that's what it feel like of being a star basketball player, just watching the show that you watch as soon as you wake up, and it's like they're talking about you every fucking day. Yeah, bro, I got such tough skin. You have to be if you want to be an artist or a rapper specifically, because it's just everyone has an opinion. You done had so many private conversations to where you be like, "What's your number?" and we talk about it after. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, so no, I didn't take nothing from it. It's not like I left there and was like, "Oh my God, let me do all my research and my homework on." I left that shit like, fuck that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't leave that shit with like, "Oh man, he was teaching me something valuable." That's how I left it. You know what I'm saying? Because he was like crazy.
Even with people like Budden coming at his neck, the strength of his early material meant that the younger listened as an important voice in hip hop. But unfortunately for Yachty, the road was about to get a little bumpier when the perception shifted from Lil Boat being a man who was pushing the genre forward to an artist who was just phoning it in. In May of 2017, Lil Yachty finally dropped his debut album, Teenage Emotions. And, well, it flopped. It was panned by most critics who originally thought what he was doing was cool and innovative.
If we're going to care about a Yachty mixtape, a Yachty album, a Yachty anything 2 years from now, the quality has got to improve on all fronts, because there's only a certain amount of time in which Yachty's hype will sort of be able to insulate him from the severe mediocrity that he's treating his fans to on this album. I'm feeling a light 2 on this record.
There's also the small matter of fact that it underperformed and didn't spawn any hits like Minnesota or One Night. To this day, it still hasn't been gold certified, while the Lil Bo mixtape was. With that, Lil Yachty suddenly found himself in a tough spot. While he had the fame he craved, he couldn't get the love and admiration that he hoped would come with it. Almost 10 million followers and couldn't sell more than 50K. From here, Yachty entered a period where no matter how hard he tried, he found himself boxed in as just another meme rapper who was never cut out to last. And while albums like 2018's Lil Bo 2 improved on the commercial performance of Teenage Emotions, he still couldn't get past the idea from fans that he was really striving to make everything unique or that would stand the test of time. But still, he stubbornly carried himself like a star, releasing albums like Nothing to Prove, when in reality,
when you go rogue, a top 20 playlist doesn't set the mood. You do. Rogue nicotine pouches. Great taste. No compromises. Go rogue.
it really should have been called Everything to Lose, as the public's interest in him was dwindling. I feel that this was once again summed up Anthony Fantano.
While I have had my issues with a lot of Yachty projects so far, it hasn't been until now that I felt like he's not really trying. And it's unfortunate because when Yachty first came out, I thought this guy is one of the more unique voices out here, really excited to see where he's going, but now it just seems like he's going with the current, which if he continues on that path, eventually he's going to end up washed up ashore. I'm feeling a decent too strong 2 on this thing.
Looking like he couldn't craft a single as big as One Night, Broccoli, or create new albums that had much replay value, even those who loved his music in the past were now asking major questions about where he went next. In some cases, they even thought that he lost his drive to succeed at all. What happened to this guy? Now, he seems so apathetic and completely out of touch with what made him such a catch. It's pretty sad to see. Is he incapable of making a good project at this point? However, while the world was counting Yachty out, he was doubling down on self-belief. As even when tracks were failing to make much of an impact, with him being written off as just another mumble rapper, and only things like a Drake feature on Oprah's bank account really telling anyone who would listen that he had more to give.
Well, see, the thing is, it's more to me than a mumble rapper. I would be setting myself short if I settled for that. Like, if I was okay with calling me a mumble rapper or a SoundCloud rapper or one-hit wonder or whatever the fuck, pop rapper, whatever someone wanted to say, I'd be setting myself short, bro, because I rap better than 96% of the new generation. I swear to God.
That's a lot, dude. That's a big number.
Yo, bro, it's no rapper from my class and after. It's no nigga from my class and after that I can't get on the track with and it's gonna shit on me, bro. Respect the niggas before me. Don't get it twisted. I'm talking about these new niggas, though. All these new niggas, bro. It's no nigga that can come on a track and just shit on me. And I prove that any track I get on. That's why I would love to make a song with Corday or whoever is rappy. I don't, cause niggas be trying me, bro. I'm not talking about he trying me or like, bro, it's a formula to certain music, bro, certain songs. And it don't always necessarily has to incorporate all these, big old metaphors and shit like that. I be trying to make songs and incorporate bars in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying I'm Jay-Z or no shit like that. Don't get it twisted. Stop there. But I can rap, bro. You know what I'm saying? I really be rapping.
Honing his skills as both a rapper and producer, Lil Yachty knew that there was something else in the tank, even if he didn't know exactly what it was yet. And instead of feeling sorry for himself, he recognized that the need to constantly prove his haters wrong was a challenge his entire generation faced.
I just feel like they be underestimating me. But niggas underestimate the new generation in a whole. It's not just me. Like, it's a whole. The whole new generation, niggas just are underestimated when it comes to lyrics or bars or being a real rapper, or I don't know, whatever the fuck. Of course, you still got your guys, but I'm talking about, like, the forefront leaders of the new generation, bro. People try to shit on and try to, like, make it seem like niggas just, I don't know, bro. Bro, you gotta listen to the song me and Jid did. It's called Van Gogh. It's on YouTube. Bro, that was gonna be on my album. I was eating that beat a lot, bro.
Whether or not he realized it at the time, Lil Yachty had a choice. He could either stick to what he knew, continually received mixed reviews, and never escape that mumble rapper tag that he never wanted in the first place, or he could do what too few artists do in today's music industry, which is taking a risk. And while he did make the decision to do just that and earn more respect than ever, it came with its own problems, which, if we're being honest, he did very little to avoid. When Lil Yachty first came out the gate, the last words that you probably thought to associate him with would be psychedelic rock. But on his latest album, Let's Start Here, that's exactly what he served up. But before we get to that point, Yachty's old fun-loving side was about to pay off again. A throwback track he recorded months before his bold new era began would give him a huge viral smash, the likes of which we hadn't seen in years. The track in question, Poland, was never actually meant to see the light of day.
Little Caesar stuffed crazy crust is stuffed with cheese. And has a delicious buttery garlic flavored crust. And it's $9.49, making it the lowest price in stuffed crust. And I'm out of time. There was more time.
Pizza, pizza.
Inspired by a literal bottle of Poland Springs water in the studio, rather than anything to do with the country itself, its lean-influenced lyrics and crazy vocal effects took Yachty fans back to the days of Lil Bo. But Yachty never wanted to take them there because he was busy finding his next move, and only a leak led to its release.
That was irritating. I was pissed. Because on a day when they were like mixing in the other room and I was just bored with the homies, I would have never dropped Poland. Ever, you know, because I was trying to pivot myself into this. So I was really irritated when it dropped. But I'm so grateful it did. Like I said, I really don't know what I do next. I don't know if I'm gonna do this again or do more rap.
Although this could have given way to a whole new wave of rapping for Yachty, the ATL rapper, who had also become part of Drake's inner circle, still wanted to do something fresh. And as he revealed in an interview, it was a conversation with a true creative force in Tyler the Creator that made it feel within reach. I don't fully remember, but he was very motivating. It was more so, whatever is in your heart and in your mind that you want to do it. And do it fully. Don't shortcut it. Don't cut any corners. Given a confidence boost by a man who had also been written off as just a fad at one point, Yachty was now taking inspiration not from his fellow rappers, but groups like P. And with that, he built something which he felt made everything he had done beforehand irrelevant. So in an interview with Billboard before the album's release, he made it known that he was ready to close the page on the past once and for all. Any of the albums that dropped before this one, I came into music in a time where rap was real hardcore. It was real street, and a bunch of us kids came in with colorful hair and dressing different and basically said, "Move out the way, old fucks, we on some other shit." I was young and I didn't really give a fuck. So I did do things that may have led people to the assumptions that I was a mumble rapper or a SoundCloud kid, or I don't appreciate the history of hip-hop. But to be honest, I've always been so much more than just hip-hop. Soon, Let's Start Here would drop and receive the highest praise for a project that Yachty has ever had in his entire career. That he was no longer that kid who just wanted to be famous. He was an artist, and for the first time in his career, he was someone who wanted to make tracks that lasted.
The goal I had in mind for Black Seminole, after like being in my room alone many nights thinking like I could sing Roger Waters' Like, obviously, by all means, it is nothing like Pink Floyd, and I never want anyone to think that's what I'm saying, but it just made me feel like I made a record that will be played for the rest of time.
I think it's amazing, Tom.
Yeah, thank you.
It's one of my favorites of yours.
After scoring a major win with Let's Start Here, Yachty went from on the cusp of a fall-off to literally writing for Drake on tracks like Jumbotron Shit Poppin', Back Outside Boys, Another Late Night, and Calling For You. It's commendable that Yachty took a big swing and knocked it out of the park, particularly when so many artists from his class faded into insignificance or got clowned out of the culture. But this hasn't come without any unfortunate side effects, because these days, for a whole host of reasons that have nothing to do with how he started, to the cocky and conceited way he's carried himself since he's gotten his career back on track, as waited to get there.
Y'all earrings small as fuck, bro. Y'all earrings is little. These 16 carats for my earrings, man. You niggas is little. You niggas ain't got no prezzies. Man, you niggas is bitches. And I'm not even gonna walk outside and show y'all how I walk around. You niggas be on my dick, bro, and you niggas is hoes, bro. And I rap better than a lot of y'all niggas, bro. That's a fact. That's a fact, bro. But I love y'all, man. Y'all have a good night, man. Alright.
By releasing Let's Start Here, Yachty had proved all of his haters wrong. But the way that he's gone about it has really irked a lot of people, and it's only got worse the more he's opened his mouth since the album dropped. It all began with the promo cycle for the project. I touched on it earlier, but one of the driving forces behind Yachty's drive to make the album was the sense that he didn't anymore. I think I created it just as an artist, you know? Not just some SoundCloud rapper, not some mumble rapper, not some guy that just made one hit. You know, I wanted to really be taken serious because music is, like, everything to me. You know, I respect all walks of music, not just rap and hip-hop, everything. Comments like these were commonplace throughout the promotion of the album, and gradually, they started to rub people the wrong way. Because to them, it sounded like Yachty was saying he was too good for hip-hop, not to mention miles ahead of those he came up with. Who does Lil Yachty think he is? This just pissed me off. Yachty doesn't even have the fan base of Uzi, 21, or Kodak Black because his music sucked major ass for 6 whole years. Ever since he's been hanging out with Drake and had a passable psych rock album, his ego has inflated to galaxy-sized proportions. Yachty knows exactly what it's like to be hated by the entire hip-hop audience, so he did what he could to clear up what he meant.
I want to talk about that for a second, because there was this conversation on the internet after I said that, and people took it as me trying to say, like, oh, I hate when rappers say I want to be taken serious as an artist, as if I was saying that like, rap isn't like being, like, you're not serious if you're a rapper. That's not what I meant. Me specifically, I do more than rap. For a long time in my career, I wanted to be taken serious as a rapper, and I said that, and so I would go try and do radio interviews or freestyles or whatever, just because I wanted that. I did Michigan Boy Bolt. I did things like, that's when I was trying to prove a rapper, and I'm past that. Now I'm proving I'm an artist.
But this wouldn't be the last time that Yachty's superior attitude landed him in trouble. During a Rolling Stone Musicians on Musicians with Philly rapper Tierra Whack, Lil Bo basically said that rap sucks right now. Hip-hop is in a terrible place. The state of hip-hop right now is a lot of imitation. It's a lot of quick, low-quality music being put out. It's a lot less risk-taking. It's a lot less originality. People are too safe now. Everyone is so safe. I would rather take the risk than to take the L. As someone who has made a living off of rap for most of his adult life, this was a pretty wild thing to say. It felt like he was actively trampling on the genre that made him famous, the same one that he dissed the legends of years before and barely escaped with a career because of it. But that was just the tip of the iceberg, because in that same interview, Yachty would prove that he has a very warped perception of who he is as an artist, while also punching down at his fellow rappers once again.
When I was younger and coming up to class, I had glorified drugs, face tats, everything under the book, you know what I'm saying? And what I learned as I got older is that I never had the fan base of certain peers because I didn't glorify negativity.
I'm following your footsteps.
Yeah.
You were able to keep a clean image. You weren't really, promoting drugs or violence or any of that. You were literally my twin.
Straight away, fans tore him to shreds for this, reminding him of the many, many times that he would use the same kind of subject matters as others in his bars, right up until the present day where he's promoted drug use in his lyrics. Just months prior, he had saved his career by taking the walk to Poland. Now, he was taking aim at the drug culture in hip-hop and the trap music culture that he had existed in. It made little sense to hip-hop fans, and they were quick to remind him that he wasn't as original or pioneering as he thought he was. Made a whole album imitating Detroit rappers and another imitating Tame Impala, LMAO. But rather than take the criticism and keep moving, Yachty did the worst thing that he could, which is he started responding to it. at the same time bragging about his pockets and success. You dudes will tweet some negative about me to get them likes just to post that weak-ass SoundCloud link under it, and nobody clicks that shit. And this shit sucks. Like, bruh, you're never gonna make it. When a fan commented saying, you just signed 4 female visas, and you imitate Earl when he raps over Alchemist beats, dude, he responded by saying, I signed 1 girl, and I don't imitate Earl. You dudes just be talking, bro. You dudes who hide behind pop culture pictures just be saying anything for likes and retweets. People act like the world is going to shit when a dude gives an opinion. After the world momentarily gave him respect for what he accomplished with Let's Start Here, it seems like Yachty had been on a one-man quest to destroy whatever goodwill came his way. Because when he wasn't dissing the current state of hip-hop, he was claiming that New York, the city where the culture was invented, had no style.
And I feel like New York didn't have like this, like, I don't want to say identity. LA's so clearly separated now. Like, as far as like, everyone used to just kind of copy Atlanta. Oh, as far as style goes, I mean, I don't think it's shit going on when it comes to like New York fashion. Y'all like Purple Label, Amiri. Hey, y'all wear a lot of y'all homeboys brands. Y'all really supportive. Y'all wear all y'all homie shit.
When you travel for business, you never know where you'll get stuck, or if that's in policy, or how you'll get home.
SAP Concur manages T&E in the background, so you could be travel disruption ready. Nice.
I know, and we can tell.
Immediately, the entire city was up in arms, with plenty of people pointing out that he made these comments while dressing like he was from the boroughs. Yachty said that people from the Bronx can't dress. It's people in Soho who dress the best in New York. Meanwhile, he dressed like 07 BX Cat. Then, hip-hop figures like A$AP Nast weighed into the conversation as they couldn't believe what they had just heard.
I'm not doing it. I'm making this shit short. I'm making it brief. You're not that guy, pal. Come on. Real killers. Real ones. The real ones. The originators. Boy, stop playing. You niggas is bums. Only nigga I'm jacking is Cardi, you're...
While Yachty did eventually head to TikTok and claim it was a joke, the problem is that Lil Boat keeps alienating people with his comments. The more I hear from this man, the less I like him. And to make matters worse, it doesn't seem like it's just those on the outside looking in who are getting tired of him. Recently, it was announced that one of the leading lights of his Concrete Boys label was leaving him behind. Officially launched in March of 2024, the talented female rapper Caribou was tipped to be one of the big stars on the label. Initially starting out as Yachty's assistant, her tracks like R.I.P. Follies and Running Late, as well as appearances on TV shows like Dave, Grownish, and On the Come Up, made her seem like one of the most exciting members of the crew. In a shocking turn of events, she has now left the clique, but not before unfollowing all the members, including Yachty. Now, Yachty was left scrambling to explain what happened.
I don't want to say this. I'm gonna say this shit one time, right? We have split ways with Kara as far as this concrete shit. I have nothing to say, nothing bad to say, nothing negative to say about Kara. I wish her the best in her career. Yeah, that's that.
This led to Caribou responding, saying that Yachty was quote-unquote bullying her. She took to her Instagram story to say the following. Put it on your kid, I ain't write these songs, Miles. She wrote, addressing Yachty by his government name while referencing the child he welcomed in 2021. Stop the cap and leave me out of your internet shenanigans. This led to Yachty letting the clip fly on Caribou during an Instagram live, where he accused his former assistant turned artist, claiming that she was actually very abusive towards his bodyguard.
If you want to tell this shit, tell the whole story. Go ahead, tell people how you verbally abuse people. Alright? Don't get on here and make it seem like niggas kicked you out. Bullying you? Bro, go ahead and tell people how you talk to people. How you tell my security guard, oh, you homeless, oh, you work for me, you're poor, we above you, and you talk to people like they nothing, like they small, like they beneath you. How you told me you gonna spit on me when you see me. Your brain is clinically imbalanced, bro.
Then, Yachty just absolutely crashed out, and went on to say that he wrote all of her raps, including her viral On the Radar freestyle.
I've given you a career, and time to time you just disrespect me. I wrote every fucking verse you've done. I dressed you. I gave you that chrome Rolex. You was washing tables. I changed your motherfucking life.
And you on here lying, talking about some we bully you? That shit got me fucked up, right?
Sadly, Caribou wasn't the only one with a bad experience on Yachty's label. Consisting of artists like Cody Shane, J-Bands, Earl the Pearl, Big Brother Chubba, The Good Perry, Aaron Versetti, and BU, Yachty seemed really determined to put them all on. But for one reason or another, they all fell to the side. And in interviews, Yachty has put all of that on them.
So when a selling team became like my brothers and sisters, I kind of felt the need to kind of take care of them. It got to the point where I was spending so much money, like almost $1 million, trying to like create this company out of my own money.
Right.
And they didn't want it for themselves. They were just really lazy. You know what I'm saying? It was like, why am I sitting here trying so hard to make you guys? But that's the thing, like I never wanted money from my friends either. I just really wanted them to be great. I never signed any of them. I never put none of them on paper because I didn't want that. I wanted them to go get their own. From Perry, who I'm not that close to anymore, I never wanted anything from him. Just for him to be great. But that's a long story.
Now, there are fans who think the Concrete Boys aren't so much about creating new talent, but allowing him to justify biting their style. Lil Yachty's Concrete Boys' adopted sound was the best career move he could have done, aka him stealing DC2 Trill's flow and starting a whole crew where they all stole his flow. While he's catching flack for some of his management of the Concrete Boys, he's also catching flack for his work with Ian. Dismissed by most hip-hop fans as a Yeet and Cardi clone, the suburban white kid has been ignored by just about everybody except by appearing alongside him at festivals and collabing with him on a recent track called Hate Me. Now, I got a video about Ian coming real soon, but it's songs like these that have caused a lot of confusion. Because wasn't this the same guy who felt that hip-hop needed to move on that is now working with someone who's just rehashing what has already been done as an outsider to the genre? The same man that said hip-hop is in a terrible place, co-signing a trust fund kid cosplaying street rappers. But when it comes to real issues that are propelling forward the Yachty hate train, one of them is definitely his newfound obsession with flaunting his wealth. On that track with Ian, he spit some very boastful bars about his cash that had people do your favorite rapper. If I'm not, then God, kill my mama. Biggest house on the street. Then, when people tried to check him on his claim, he continued to double down and say that he was the richest of them all. I made $8 million in my first 8 months of rapping in 2016, on God. With all that boasting about his cash, he started to sound like his bestie Drake, and unfortunately for Yachty, this has been another layer of what soured the public on him. Because as well as being name-checked on Euphoria, he's been caping for Drake as hard as academics.
Well, I think people just hate on Drake because he's the guy. It's also probably that he's fucked everyone's bitch, yeah. I mean, he's also that guy, though. All the records, all the numbers, like he's the one. I just wish I had never spoke on it. That's the only thing that was the only part. I wish I hadn't said anything about it.
Just as K-Dot predicted, Yachty has been throwing himself on Drake like a human shield. And in every interview since, he's gone out of his way to insist that Drake is still the king and that he never technically lost any beef.
Because Drake dropped great records, but also, let's be fair, Drake was deemed a loser in this battle before it started because people don't like him and haven't, and he's won for a very long time, and he's sat at the top of the throne. And still, honestly, respectfully, I think he still sits at the top of the throne. I don't think that people are going to stop listening to Drake and like Drake's career is going to like flush. Rappers have lost and then lost everything. I don't think that this has happened to Drake. I think Drake will still be in everyone's Wrapped Spotify at the end of the year. They can still drop hits and control the summer. I think that Kendrick made very smart moves. I don't think Drake would disagree.
After Let's Start Here gave Yachty an opportunity to change hip-hop's collective mind when it comes to him, it feels like Bo has gone out of his way to absolutely dismantle any chance that his haters would finally come around. Because every time he speaks, the end result is that he's found another reason for them to believe that he's an arrogant individual who's taken more from hip-hop than he's given. And recently, he gave them evidence that he hasn't grown at all in recent years. In fact, he might still be the same exact kid who was hurt by Budden's comments. When he welcomed Joe onto his, he had a point to prove to Joe, making it seem like he still held a grudge in the process. As within minutes of the conversation beginning, he was trying to turn the tables on Budden.
At first, it also was a feeling like, oh, this won't last long. Like, these ain't gonna be here for long. These here they going my wonders, all the mumble rap, whatever phase, whatever it was. And I just don't remember it being like oh man, we welcome y'all, man, welcome new guys. I think it just became a thing where
was a realization that we weren't going anywhere. There's still a lot of people who like, that ain't for me. And that's fine, but I don't think it was ever just like, what's up, little bro? You pat baton pass. Like, I mean, there were certain guys that showed love, but I don't ever think it was just a smooth hand toss.
After watching it, fans couldn't believe how transparent the whole thing was. Yachty brought that shit up in under 3 minutes with the exact date. But it didn't stop there. As now that he felt he was more powerful in hip-hop than Budden, he tried to insist that he was a better rapper too.
Joe, you still rap? You still get in there? You still practice? How can you
You
think you still got it?
Always have it, like riding a bike.
No.
Do you think you're better than him? In what?
Do you think right now, if me and you went in there, Joe, you could pen a better verse than me?
Well, who's picking the beat?
Obviously not you.
He also suggested that he was more versatile than Joe was.
I can work on anything. I'm gonna push off one of my
If you give me one of them Metroid beats, then you will have.
No, I'm gonna dust off one of my Alchemist
If I
beats.
could get to Alchemist,
I'm gonna dust off one
he's
of my
done.
Alchemist
If
beats.
this is, I'm not even dignifying this.
I would love for us to book a session. Me and you go in there and rap.
Because I'm retired.
Think
That
it'd
would
be
be just a
fun.
fun content.
I think it'll be fun.
If I were not retired, just the thought of this would be an insult to me. I wouldn't even allow it. See, that's why if the Alchemist beat was up and you was no sleep,
no, I would still kill you.
Oh my
I'm not gonna lie,
God!
that's
A morning session? I'm walking in with coffee.
It was recording in the morning.
Me, psychopath Virgos.
The whole exchange was a little tense, with Joe trying his best to take it in good humor. But the major takeaway wasn't that Budden got clowned. It was that Yachty was still in his feelings about what happened all of those years ago. Yachty still hurt. His passive-aggressive tone and attack is hilarious. Heal, bro. After so many years of being doubted and finally releasing a critically acclaimed album, Yachty has obviously developed a chip on his shoulder. He wants to let all of those people who thought he was just a one-hit wonder know that he's still there, richer than ever, working with big artists like Drake, and shining brighter than they ever could. The only problem is that he's doing it so obnoxiously that it's off-putting to his supporters too. Plus, all of the stuff with the Concrete Boys and Ian isn't exactly a good look either. Now, it's actually reached the point where he's being chased off of social media entirely.
I'm gone off this internet shit. I think I'm gone for the rest of the year. Contracted to do this podcast shit, unfortunately, but I ain't posting no more shit. I'm deleting the apps off my phone. Swear to God.
For Yachty, this could be a really fueled era. Separating art from the artist is basically impossible, and if he keeps going the way he is, he might end up dealing with it now than he ever did in 2016 when he first popped off as a so-called mumble rapper. Now, he should just focus on making the social media clout chasing to artists on the come up. As always, it's your boy Luesta, and if you guys like this video, you're definitely gonna like one of the 2 videos on the screen. Till next time, my friends, make sure you guys tap in a few days for the next video, and I'll catch you then. Peace.
Red Bull gives you wings.
From getting canceled.
Adidas is the latest company to cut ties with rapper Kanye West. The company had been undergoing mounting pressure to drop the rapper.
To craziness.
Everybody says, who does he think he is? I just told you who I thought I was. A guy.
To betrayal.
Things have just changed. I'm not just more. And now we have personal situations.
Kanye West has been in music 2 decades, becoming a legend in the process. But as time has gone on, he has been a part of tons of controversy, gotten him canceled time and time again. Which begs the question, who are a part of these? What exactly did Kanye do? And why did they get him canceled? Hi, I'm Rashad Bashir, and these are the many controversies of Kanye West. First up, we have Kanye's infamous moment, Taylor Swift. In 2009, Kanye West did something so unexpected and insane that it became one of the most memorable moments. Award for Best Female Video at the VMAs.
I always dreamed about what it would be like to maybe win one of these someday, but I never actually thought that would happen. I sing country music.
I mean, winning a VMA in front of all of her idols meant that this was supposed to. Kanye had other plans.
Thank you so much for giving me a chance to win a VMA award.
He got up on stage and shocked the entire audience by saying,
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish.
And to the surprise of nobody, the next thing he said was somehow worse than him interrupting her speech.
But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
So not only had he just ruined Taylor's speech, He also put Beyonce in a really awkward spot as well. Right after Beyonce, the camera then panned to her. Her face had a look of pure shock as she just tried to smile. On the other hand, Taylor Swift was left frozen on stage after what Kanye had just done. Unsure about what to do after being publicly humiliated like that, and the fact that she had to perform didn't make it any better. You could hear the crowd booing Kanye after his embarrassing outburst on stage. However, Taylor Swift thought that the crowd was booing her instead. Imagine how horrible.
We've always said never sell a house in the winter. Well, that's not exactly true. With Open Door, you can skip the showings and get a real cash offer. And if you close before the holidays, you don't have to move till after New Year's. You are disguising my voice here, right?
Of course. Phew. Just checking. Like I was saying.
It's true. Open Door makes selling easy in any.
Experience advanced technology in the Buick Envision. Equipped with the largest in class ultra-wide 30 and diagonal display and Google built-in compatibility. Innovation is at your fingertips. Buick, exceptional by design.
It was when you had your moment taken away by Kanye West, of all people. Later, we found out that Taylor Swift and her mom both cried backstage, and so did Beyonce, as she said, "I didn't know this was going to happen. I feel so bad for her." And when Beyonce won Best Video of the Year, she was kind enough to bring Taylor Swift up on stage to give her a chance to finish her speech.
So I'd like for Taylor to come out and have her moment.
And no matter how you feel about Taylor Swift or her music, you have to admit that this was a horrible thing to do, even by Kanye's standards. But Kanye wasn't going to be able to get away with this. Swift was a rising young star, new to the industry, and many came to her defense, not only just Taylor's fans, but also her fellow artists. For example, Katy Perry had strong words for you, Kanye, it's like you stepped on a kitten. This was true at the time, especially with Kanye West to Taylor Swift. The difference was massive. Kanye was an established superstar at the time. Another pop star, Pink, just outright said what was on everyone's mind that night. Kanye is on earth, quote me. So clearly, everyone was on Taylor's side. But what would Kanye have to say about all of this? Well, one day passed after Kanye confronted Taylor at the VMAs, and Kanye would become public enemy #1 in everyone's eyes. But believe it or not, Kanye actually apologized for his actions and tried to explain why he did what he did on that fateful night on the Jay Leno show. For some context, Kanye's mom, Donda West, died 2 years before this happened. On the show, Jay Leno asked Kanye about how his mom would react to the whole VMA situation.
What do you think she would have said about this?
Kanye responded with a sincere answer.
So many, celebrities, they never take the time off, and I've never taken the time off to really, just music after music and tour after tour.
He said he never had the time to mourn his mother's loss because of how he was churning music out. However, he didn't blame it entirely on that, because what he would say after would be one of the rare moments when Kanye West really spoke from his heart about the situation.
And I'm just ashamed that my hurt caused, someone else's hurt. My dream of what award shows were supposed to be caused, and I don't try to justify it because I was just in the wrong. That's period.
Kanye West taking accountability for his actions, that's rare. Now, if you think that Kanye was apologizing for the sake of it and that he didn't feel bad, you'd be dead wrong. As he reached out to Taylor himself, she said in her own words, "Kanye did call me, and he was very sincere in his apology, and I accepted that apology." So, that should conclude their beef, right? Well, not really, as this was far from the end of their feud. You'd think their feud would be over after he apologized, but just 3 years after Kanye showed remorse to Taylor for the drama he caused at the VMAs, he took the apology back in an interview with the New York Times, saying, "I don't have one regret." So it turns out Kanye West wasn't entirely sorry after all. And when asked why he apologized, he said this: "I have, as a human being, fallen to peer pressure." But 2 years later, it seemed like things were all good all of a sudden, as the two would reunite at the 2015 Grammys, where they not only took a picture together, but Kanye also jokingly said she wants to get in the studio, and we're definitely going to go in. In that same interview, he gave her props and said she's an artist with an amazing view, perspective, and fan base. That's quite a lot of compliments for someone who just humiliated you a few years ago. Then, later that year, at the VMA Video Vanguard Awards, when Taylor presented Kanye his award, she gave Kanye his flowers when speaking about his career.
But Kanye West has had one of the greatest careers of all time.
Now, this was a compliment for sure, but it was also play to what Kanye said years ago.
But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
By the way, that would have been the perfect time for Taylor to step in and interrupt his speech. I'm being sarcastic, by the way. Not only that, but Kanye also thanked Taylor Swift during his speech.
Thank you, Taylor, for being so gracious and giving me this award this evening. Thank you.
So, this had to be the end of their beef, right? I mean, Kanye even sent her flowers a couple of days after the awards show, which she took to Instagram to upload. They were good, right? Well, no. Unfortunately, the peaceful times between Kanye and Taylor would be over following the rollout of Kanye's The Life of Pablo album. As you know, Kanye and drama go hand in hand, and this album was no different. And for some reason, he decided. You see, when he released the song Famous, it had a couple controversial lines that mentioned Taylor Swift. I feel like me and Taylor might still have sex. Why? I made that famous. I made that famous. He basically said that his whole VMA stunt in 2009 made Taylor famous. However, even though a lot of people would get upset at him for the song, Kanye assured them that Taylor Swift was fine with the lyrics, taking to Twitter to explain that Taylor approved of the lyrics and gave him permission to put it in the song, tweeting, "I did not diss Taylor Swift and I've never dissed her." However, this didn't stop fans and other celebrities from clapping back at Ye. Taylor's brother, Austin Swift, uploaded a video of him throwing his Yeezys in the garbage on Instagram. And he wasn't alone, as other artists like Selena Gomez, Pink, and many others disapproved of Kanye mentioning Taylor in his song. But what did Taylor herself think? Well, she would respond to Kanye's disrespectful track on one of the biggest stages in music television, the Grammys. So, when she won the Album of the Year in the 58th Annual Grammy Awards, she used her spotlight to respond to Kanye's controversial lyrics.
I want to say to all the young women out there